Look, man, regardless of what religion you believe in or what faith you follow, you gotta understand that only a mystic will truly meet God. Yes, sir, let me say that again. Regardless of what type of religion you believe in or what type of faith you follow, you got to understand that only a mystic will truly meet God. And you might be wondering, okay, man, how do I meet God? How do I become a mystic? Is there a party that I got to RSVP to meet God? What's going on? Well, relax, relax, relax. Because it's time for your boy to break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. Now, you got to understand this. Every religion, every spiritual tradition, and every philosophy has an exoteric and an esoteric path to it, side to it, aspect to it. There's always an exoteric and always an esoteric. There always has been and there always will be. So as you start studying into different faiths, or you just study into your own faith that you follow, you got to realize this on a deeper level. There's a path, the exoteric path, that's made for the masses. But there is an esoteric path that is made for the mystics. The mystics are not the masses of men. The mystic, his path, is not about salvation. All these different religions, doesn't matter what it is, all these, most of them, Abrahamic religions, not the Dharmic religions, not the old Eastern traditions, they have an emphasis of salvation. You need to believe in God. You need to pray to God. You need to follow God's rules, whatever God that they have personified as, to be saved from his wrath, from the destruction of this world, from hell, from Satan, from the devil, from Shaitan. All of them have this concept of salvation in different ways, in different formats, but that's a key principle. That is the exoteric path of it, the exoteric side of it. You are trading in your sovereignty for this false version of salvation, of being saved. Because you got to understand this, if you look back into history, all these big religions that you see today started off on the esoteric and mystic path. All these books, all these scriptures, all these teachings were brought to us by men who were mystics. And what do I mean by that? A mystic is someone who's seeking unification with God rather than salvation through God. What's the difference between that? Unifying yourself with the higher source rather than following all these rules, like your dad, like your mom is just telling you to do chores so you don't get grounded, so you don't get in trouble. Religion is all about that. But the mystic path is all about a relationship with that higher force and realizing that higher force resides within you and everything that you see around you. That is the esoteric path of all these religions. And you can see it in every single one of these big religions. They have an esoteric sect of it, the original sect of it. Christianity, there's an esoteric mystic part of Christianity, Gnosticism, Mandeanism, Manichaeanism, all that stuff. In the Jewish tradition, this is Kabbalah, the esoteric side of Judaism. In Islam, this is Sufism. That's the esoteric and mystic path of the Islamic faith. There are certain sects that were always there and have always been there that acted as a guide map for the mystic men to actually reach unification with God, meet God face to face. Not look for ways to be saved by God by following all these rules, by following all these principles. I'm not saying you should not follow rules and all that stuff, but what I'm saying is submitting your own sovereign entity, your own sovereign spirit to a conglomerate institution that these religions have become, that bastardizes the true essence of their teachings, you become another slave to a different type of matrix. We always talk about the matrix, the Maya, the illusion. Well, you got to realize that these big corporations that are running behind this religion disguise, this facade, are just another form of tyranny, but now not the tyranny of the physical world, but the spiritual world of man. Saying that you got to do this, and this to become spiritual, to become saved, to have salvation, and actually reach heaven. How nonsensical is that? If you really use your logical mind, and if I'm triggering you, if you are religious, if you are someone who's following a certain type of faith, I hope this is hitting hard for you. Because trust me, I'm not doing this in a way to spite you, to shame you. What I'm saying is something that I've dealt with myself. And I'm giving you the sauce, I'm giving you the game that I wish I got earlier. Maybe it does correlate with you, maybe it does not. It's totally fine. You can click off this video and get the fuck off this channel if that's the case. Never watch my stuff again. That's totally fine. But listen to me and hear me out right now. All these big religions, these institutions have become monopolized. They have become political. They have become, in a sense, a cog of the matrix. And their whole goal is to make you subordinate towards their agendas. Just like the matrix, just like political events, just like the government wants to do to you. Subordinate, they want you to lose your sovereignty. But now on a spiritual level. Some things want to do it on a mental level, some things want to do on a physical level, but this is pertaining to the spiritual. And this is something, if you look back in history, the elites, the ones who were running the show, doesn't matter what era, it doesn't matter what part of the world, you can see this. They were running the show, and they wanted a way for the masses of men to be encapsulated and further enslaved outside of money, outside of physical resources. Because at a certain point, these people would revolt when it comes to, oh man, we ain't getting enough money, we ain't getting enough resources, yet you're out in your castle living a fucking great life while we're suffering, while we're starving, while we're dying. So they took the mystical teachings of these true masters, these enlightened sages, saints, monks, mystics, sadhus, whatever you want to call them, from all parts of the world. They took their teachings, warped it, manipulated it, bastardized it to a way where it's like, okay, man, this is you have to do this or you're going to hell. And the masses at the time were not able to read, were not able to write, were not able to actually think logically. They were in slave mode. They were in survival mode. And when they hear this existential fear of you're going to go to hell if you don't do this, they're already living in a hell state, in a hell vibration within their own existence right then and there. So they're like, okay, bro, I don't want things to get any worse than this. I'm going to give up my life, give up my overall sovereignty to this source that they're saying, whether that be the church, whether that be the temples, whether that be the mosque. I'm going to give up my sovereign entity and my sovereign just overall spirit to this institution because they guarantee me salvation. Or if I don't, I'm either probably going to get killed or I'm going to go to hell at the end of the day. You see how fucked up that shit was? You see how nonsensical it was? And you see how it still permeates through society today? That's why I'm trying to help you guys wake up. I'm not saying I got all the answers. I'm not saying that I'm the one that's going to bring you to salvation towards this and that. But what I'm saying is there are ways, paths that these people have tried to block you from that brings you to the true essence of these teachings, which is the mystic path. The mystic path is individuated. Your road to self-realization, to enlightenment, to heaven, to moksha, to nirvana, whatever you want to call it, is different than mine. It's different from your dad's, it's different from your mom's, it's different than your brother's, it's different from anybody else's. It's specifically unique to you. It's pertaining to your karmas, your dharmas, and your overall path in life. Nobody else can make it like yours. Nobody else can give you a blueprint to find yours, to get on your own path. Yet at the end of the day, the mystic path all leads up to the same mountaintop. Unification with the higher source. Becoming fully face-to-face with God, meeting God, and realizing that it resides within you. There's different tools, tips, techniques to help you on that path that are principles in all these teachings, but at the end of the day, they can give you the tools, they can give you the guideposts, they can give you the directions, but your map to the mountaintop is only accessed from within, and that's what these tools help you do. They help you uncover and unravel all the secrets, the esoteric secrets of enlightenment that pertain to you. It's not about you have to follow this exact doctrine, you have to follow this exact dogma, and then you'll get heaven, and then you'll become enlightened. It's personalized for you. They're giving you tools to just start renouncing and breaking off the chains, the debilitating chains that are dragging you down to this degenerate world. They're teaching you how to break free from them. Because when you break free from them, that energy, attention, and focus that was being dissipated out into the external world is now returned to your internal world. And funny enough, that's where you'll find all the answers. That's where you'll find all the knowledge. That's where you'll find all the gnosis. Come on now, man. Are you picking up what the fuck I'm putting down? Are you understanding and understanding what I'm saying? These are all tools that these mystics have laid out for you. Different systems these mystics have laid out for you. In the yogic traditions, in the Sufi tradition, in the Kabbalah tradition, in the Gnostic tradition. All these things are different systems that maybe you like, okay man, I like this one a lot more. It clicks with me more. And most of the time, there's something called blood memories, blood DNA. So your ancestral lineage will naturally be more pertaining to a certain type of path on this overall mystic journey. You will be able to correlate and connect with a specific one because that is a part of your DNA, that's a part of your lineage. It is ancestral wisdom that is already within you, within your very veins, that just needs to be awakened. So, of course, me, I'm Middle Eastern. I pertain more to the Eastern traditions, obviously. Some people who are born in Europe, their ancestral lineage is from Europe. They might connect more to the different types of esoteric paths within medieval Europe. There's nothing wrong about that. And that's what's so beautiful about the mystic path, about the mystic man. They can see the correlating teachings between all of these faiths, between all of these philosophies, but they don't make it dogmatic. They don't say that this is the only doctrine to save you from this world. How nonsensical is that? Your own bloodline had a mystic path built into it. Yet these crusaders, these overall institutions, armies and all that were coming in, killing millions and millions of people, saying you need to follow this faith or you're going to hell. And if they said, bro, I don't want to do it, I have my own mystic path. No, you need to do it. Says who? Well, pop, you're dead. Look into history, man. Look into history. And a lot of people who grew up religious will not look into that history. And I'm not saying you guys are evil, you guys are bad, this and that. Relax. If you grew up religious and you have a true affinity and connection to that faith, what I do advise you to do, look into the mystic path of it, and you will enjoy it even more. Not the surface level shit, go down to the deeper levels where you're connecting your spirit to that source that you believe in. It's always been there. All these religions and faiths started off pure. They become bastardized by politics, by all this nonsense of the external world to make everything about power, 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 power. Taking over this country, forcing our religion down their throat. And people would be all a part of it because like, oh man, I'm being a warrior for my religion, for God. You're killing people still. You're killing people still. Innocent people for no reason. And forcing this religion down their throat. Pause. The mystic path doesn't do that. And that's why the mystic will be the only way to meet God. Because you don't try to fall into these dogmas. You don't fall into these doctrines. You use the teachings and scriptures as tools, as little manuals, as little blueprints to find out your own map to that mountaintop of unification with God. And for all you guys out there that are watching this channel, that are watching the main channel, that are tapped into the private Patreon community, shout out to the fucking private Patreon community. Look, man, if you enjoy these types of topics, especially about mysticism, about esoteric sciences of self-mastery, elevating the mind, body, and soul, then look, man, you are truly doing yourself a disfavor by not joining up into the private Patreon community. And let me say that again. You're doing yourself, not me, yourself, a disfavor by not joining up into the private Patreon community. Because within there, you get access to exclusive videos that goes even more in depth and more in detail on these types of topics and subjects that you're not going to find anywhere else. I promise you that. Along with that, you'll be able to get access to our full guides, occult lectures, and most importantly, if you tap into the Philosopher's Circle, aka the highest membership tier in the private Patreon community, you can tap into our bi-weekly mastermind live calls where you hop on a call with me, as well as a community of like-minded men who are also pertaining to the mystic path, who are also pertaining to this path of self-mastery in order to attain true self-realization. Where we got a private group chat talking about all these types of things with people that can actually connect to these deeper level topics. If you want a community of people like that around you, join into the Philosopher's Circle, become a part of the private Patreon community, because I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Matter of fact, we got a whole video talking about what it means to be a mystic, where I'm breaking down ancient quotes, ancient just overall perspectives of what this path really means and how we can bring it back and revitalize it within the modern day world. So if you're interested in stuff like that, check out the links posted in the pinned comment of this video, because within there, you'll also be able to check out our other links to our other services, whether that be personalized coaching programs with me, one-on-one consultation calls, weekly newsletters, free community Discord, all that stuff posted in the pinned comment of this video, so make sure you go run it up. But like I was saying, for the people that are watching this channel, the main channel, who are working with me one-on-one, who are part of the private Patreon community, who might be tapping into the bi-weekly live calls, the mastermind live calls, you may not realize it, but you're on the mystic path. I didn't realize what mysticism was until I really started to dive deep into these types of things. The mystic path is you are actually looking for that direct connection with the higher source that resides within you. When we talk about higher self, when we talk about becoming our highest version, that's what the mystic is looking to do. That's what they're focused on. They're not focused on, oh man, I'm just gonna follow the higher rules that somebody told me to do because that's what I know is good. They paint out their own rules, they pave out their own principles, they carve out their own 10 commandments. They don't need to follow somebody else's. And this is not to shun anybody who follows that, but there's certain people that are built for the exoteric path, aka the masses of society, but there's also certain people that are pertaining towards the esoteric path. Not everyone's supposed to be a mystic. Some people just want to follow, and that's totally fine. Let them follow, but they're going to be following a path that leads them towards salvation that they may realize, a false version of it, but never true unification with God. And if they don't want that for this lifetime, for this incarnation, that's all good, man. No shame, no hate, no nothing. Go do your thing, player. But for you, like I was saying, that are watching this channel, especially this channel, because I've said before, people who watch the Watu Fulani channel, the second channel, are more psychologically and spiritually matured. No wonder why you're more pertaining to the mystic path. You cannot listen to these types of videos and grasp these types of concepts if you have not had that overall maturation process of your psyche and your spirit. So that's why the mystic path is for you. I'm not here to convert you. You're already on the path, brother. You're already on the path. You just got to realize it and embrace it and actually dive deep into these actual, not doctrines, but texts and scriptures to help guide you. Because again, I am a nobody, and I know nothing compared to these people. I might know something compared to the masses, maybe in the modern world. Hopefully I'm giving you some value. But these people who are true self-realized mystics and true self-realized masters, they got the sauce, they got the game that I can't even touch. Maybe one day I will be touching that level, but man, I'm learning so much out of their stuff. But my job is to extrapolate that, make it practical within the modern world. However, you can get right to the source, you can get right to the details, because again, all the tools that I'm teaching, all the tools that these mystics are teaching are ways for you to get right to your answers, right to your path that is only known by you, that is only pertaining to your journey. Some tips and techniques might work for you, that might work for me, but some tips and techniques that work for you might not work for me. And that's totally fine, because that's what's the beauty of the mystic path. Everyone has their own journey to that mountaintop. You might take this detour, that detour. I may be taking that detour and this detour. You might zig, I might zag. I might go up, you might go down. I might go left, you might go right. But at the end of the day, I'm meeting you up at the top. What's good, my boy? What's good? What's cracking? My cousin, what's bracking? My buzzing. We at the top of the mountain of unification with God. That's what yoga means. That's why yoga was the first mystic path, in my opinion. First mystic science. Yoga means unification with that higher source. It don't mean stretching. It don't mean this. It don't mean that. But it just extrapolated into different forms. That's why I believe yoga and the Eastern traditions are the Godhead points that everything else extrapolated from. Ancient Egypt, ancient Mesopotamia. Then it goes on over to the Jewish traditions. Then it goes on over to the Christian, then the Islamic, and this and that. There's so many different forms, Buddhists, all that stuff. Find the one that works for you. Find the one that you have the most affinity for, but also remain open-minded to all the different forms, because you can extrapolate bits and pieces from the Sufis. You can extrapolate bits and pieces from the overall Kabbalists, from these sages of Hinduism. All these people and all these paths can combine into your own path, your own way, your own philosophy, your own philosophy. That's my path. I made it. Philosophy and philosophy put together, that's philosophy. But at the end of the day, you got your own way. You got your own wave. You got your own path. Don't box yourself into this corner consciously that, oh man, if I don't follow this, the devil's going to be running after me with a pitchfork. I'm going to be burning in hell. That's a way to scare and put men into their fight or flight mode. It was designed from the start to put your nervous system in a state of shock, in a state of just duress, and you believe that this is your only life raft out of it. If I go to church, if I go to this, I go to that. And all that stuff has been literally programmed into your DNA from that time on to right now. This is just a part of everyone's overall journey that they need to just overall overcome. Some people didn't grow up religious, so they don't have that chain holding them down. But for the people that did grow up religious, I'm not saying you to break off from your religion, but what I am saying is look deeper, because you wouldn't be watching this channel if you're not meant to be on the mystic path. I'll tell you that. Look deeper and find the mystic aspect, the esoteric path of your faith. That's your one-way ticket to unification with God. That's what you're really looking for. You're not really looking for salvation, heaven, this and that. You're looking to be directly face-to-face, in lockstep, yoking yourself to God, to the higher source that resides within you. And there's certain principles that pertain to all these mystic paths. Purification is a prerequisite for that liberation journey. And there's different ways to go about the purification process. There's ascending up the mountain. The ascending up the mountain is purifying yourself, renouncing worldly things. Not in a way that you're giving up on the world, but you're giving up the nonsensical attachments that are acting as anchors pulling you down the mountain. You're taking off your backpack, you're taking off the weight vest, you're taking off your weighted ankle, what are they called? Ankle weights. You're taking all off that shit. You know, if you've ever watched Naruto, what's his name? Rock Lee? Yeah, Rock Lee. He's wearing all these fucking heavy ass just pieces of equipment. Same thing with Goku in Dragon Ball Z. He's wearing all these heavy ass clothes, and you're doing that and trying to ascend up the mountain towards unification with God. All those clothes, all those garments are your attachments to the material world. And are they evil, they're bad? No, but they act as anchors to your overall ascension on that path. The mystic path, again, this is why the purification process was all about it. That is getting rid of the ankle weights, getting rid of the weighted vest, getting rid of your backpack, this and that, things that are bogging you down. That the whole world, again, is trying to extrapolate and pull you into. Even the religions are trying to pull you into that. Guess what that is? The weighted vest of fear, of being in a fight and flight mode, stress. And you might cause this facade within your life. Oh man, now I'm saved. Well, you're still saved, but you're still sinning. Oh no, but I'm saved and God died for all my sins. I still try, but no, the purification process is not because sins are bad, this and that. It's because you have to give up these lower level desires in order to attain these higher level truths. It's like oil and water, they don't mix. So as you see, the mystic path is not about scaring people into submission. It's about liberating people into true unification with God. Because some people truly want that unification with God. They've had experiences. Maybe you have had psychedelic experiences, have had traumatic experiences, but that led you on this path to want that unification with the higher self, which is God, which resides within you. And that's an inner journey, that ascension process up the mountain. You need to let go of these attachments, these egoic overall anchors that are pulling you down, pulling your consciousness to its lower levels, and you can never realize what the higher pursuits, what the higher aspects of reality are. The exoteric path of religions, they don't have that built into it. They don't. It's just subordination. It's just submission to the will of whatever kind of God that they've built out for you. Whatever this personification of God, something external they've laid out for you. That's how you know for a fact that they want you to be subordinate, because they make that connection with God external. Oh, you need to come here and do this. Oh, you need to do this externally. You need to do that. The mystic path is an inner journey, an inner purification process, an alchemical purification process that pertains to all the things that we talk about, again, on this channel, on the main channel, on the private Patreon community, with the people I work with one-on-one. Practices like celibacy, semen retention, meditation, pranayama, yoga, psychological advancement, physical revitalization, all these types of topics that we talk about here, main channel, private Patreon community, with the people I work with one-on-one, are tools and overall pinpoint aspects of the mystic path. So if you're fucking with this, you're messing with this channel, you're messing with the message that Fuladi Fitness, that what the Fuladi is pushing out for you, you are a mystic. You just need to embrace it, and you need to realize it. And you need to dive deeper and research deeper, either by yourself or hopping into these different communities that I laid out for you, man. Where we're really breaking things down, because that is what we're focused on. We're not focused on, oh man, if I just live out a good life, if I do this, I do that, then I'll get to heaven, this and that. No, man, there is something that we want to fully envelop ourselves in. We've tasted a little sense of enlightenment, of self-realization, of all these things for a second, maybe, for a couple glimpses, but we want to abide in that state. And that is, okay, man, take this analogy. When you have a psychedelic, transcendental experience, maybe even through meditations, it's like taking a helicopter ride all the way up to that mountain that we just talked about before. But the mystic path is the struggle, the climb, the overall journey against your lower self, not because the lower self is bad, but it is the process of mastering your lower desires, mastering your lower senses, mastering the lower states of consciousness, and making them and leveraging them towards the ascension, towards your advantage to the higher aspects. Which one is cooler? Taking a helicopter ride to the top, but you got to come back down, or actually climbing up and residing at the top as long as you want? That's why I say psychedelics and stuff like that are steroids for spiritual growth. They get you to these heightened states, higher states of consciousness that these mystics, that these monks, that these sages all got to, but naturally through the inner journey, through the inner purification process. It gets you to that point like that. But you don't remain in that state. You got to come back down the hill. You got to come back into the helicopter and descend back downwards. But it can give you a taste and an understanding, and that could push you towards the mystic path that we're all on if you're messing with this type of stuff, man. That's where you really meet God. Not the people that go to the church, go to the temples, go to the mosques, they do all their prayers, they do all their fasts and all that stuff, but they don't really look forward to that relationship with the higher source. They're just doing it because everybody else is doing it. They're an NPC, a spiritual NPC. You can even see this in the New Age spirituality movement, not just religions. Oh man, you have to do this and this and that, and buy these crystals and do this chakra stuff just to be able to tap into higher states of consciousness. You got to dress in this way, you got to do this. No, the mystic path is so personified and personalized for you. That's the beauty of it. Somebody in different parts of the world can be on the mystic path, but again, we'll meet them at the top. We'll be at the mountaintop, chilling with them. Hopefully you're there with me, bro. Hopefully you're there with me. Because I, matter of fact, will be there, God willing. Maybe I'm there right now. We never know. Maybe it's always been there. And we just got to wake up to that point. Which is actually the case. But that point, that whole process of waking up to it, is that internal journey. It's not something external. Which these conglomerate bastardizations of these faiths and traditions have made it seem like for you. You have to achieve something externally to actually embrace the inner bliss, joy, and divine essence that you have already residing within you. You have that already residing with you. The mystic path is learning how to discover it by giving up all the degeneracy that is blocking the way, that is making it dirty, that is making it unable for you to truly see and understand. So again, if you truly want to meet God, I'll see you on the mystic path. It's Benny Boy out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these games, and I'm out of here. Peace.